Hey guys, it's your girl Carrie. Welcome back to my channel. We're doing a little bit of a different style dip with me today. We're going to be answering your questions. So I asked you guys if you had any questions for me, and quite a few of you sent some in, some of which were nail related and some of which weren't. So I'm going to be answering those today while we put together this soft matte mani, which I'm calling more of like an Art Deco style almost. So we're going to put that together, answer your questions, and at the end we will go over the details of my 1K subscriber giveaway. So if all that sounds like something you're interested in, then stick around. We're getting into it. All right, so since we are going to be spending most of this video answering your questions, I'm going to go over the details for the mani that we're going to put together. That way you can just kind of watch it as we go. So this is actually based on a mani I saw on Instagram, and I immediately fell in love with it. So I decided to recreate it for today's video. So what I have here are two colors from Ritzy Dips. So I have both Quartz and Frozen. These are both in 1 ounce jars. The Quartz I meant to buy in 1 ounce, but Frozen at the time I bought it was during a sale and it was only available in 1 ounce. But it's definitely a beautiful kind of a powdery blue color, which is right in my alley. So I figured it was okay to have 1 ounce of that. So we're going to be using these two colors for the bases, and then we're going to do a bit of nail art on top. So for the nail art, I'm going to be using my Beetles gel art polish set. This is the line art set in pastel colors, which I have used on this channel before, but yeah, I instantly fell in love with this. And they do have some other color variations if you're not into pastels or you tend to only use them for spring. But yeah, I absolutely love this set, so I'm going to be using a few of the shades from this set today. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get into answering your questions. So I won't really be talking you through this mani much. It's pretty straightforward. If you need more of it, like a detailed explanation as to what I'm doing, I have plenty of other videos you can refer to for that. But as far as this one goes, I'm just going to dip while we answer your questions. So I'm really just going to be doing a basic dip process, and then I will be finishing with gels. So I'll use a gel base, I'll do my nail art, and then I'll use matte gel top coat on everything just to give it a nice matte finish. So I actually got several questions on this one, and that is basically what do I do for work, because you guys have heard me talk about night shift and going back and forth between days and nights and 12-hour shifts. So some of you are confused because you see my profile named This Chef Dips, and so you're thinking, what kind of chef works those weird hours? So the reason I'm This Chef Dips is because in addition to nails, my passion is home cooking. So it's just something I really enjoy. I'm very passionate about cooking and trying new things and trying new recipes. I just have a lot of fun with it. So the name just really combines my two passions, but I am not a professional chef. So I actually work for a large electrical company in Texas, and basically what we do is we keep the lights on. So if there's some kind of power outage due to weather or just regular equipment failure, then I will actually dispatch crews and work with them to restore the power. So some things I can control by computer, and some things a human person has to go out there to fix. So that's essentially what I do, is I help coordinate with the men and women out in the field to help get power restored anytime there's an outage. So again, that's for the majority of Texas, not all of it, but it's a pretty, intense job. It can get very stressful at times, and the hours are a little bit crazy. But really, I really do enjoy my work. It's really fascinating, it's really interesting, and I enjoy the problem solving aspect of it. So I don't really talk to customers on the phone. That's not really what I do. I pretty much work just with the servicemen and women and computers to help restore service. Honestly, my job is a bit complicated, and I could spend most of the video explaining to you what I do, but let's move on. I think you get the idea. But that is the reason why I can't have my nails too long, because I do type about 90% of the day and handwrite on papers the other 10%. So I just can't keep long nails to keep up with the fast pace of my job. So speaking of being a home chef, one of the questions I was asked was, what is my favorite thing to cook? And I can actually link this recipe for you down below. I discovered it a while ago. And it might sound kind of lame, but it's just so delicious. It's a chicken parmesan, but instead of breading, it's not breaded. It still has the marinara and it still has a lot of cheese, so there's that. But I really thought I would miss the breading, and it's just so delicious because it uses a ton of fresh herbs, and then you use your tomato sauce and then your cheeses, and I just think it is so divine. And it's actually not that difficult to cook either. So it's one of Giada De Laurentiis' recipes, so I will have that one linked for you down below if you're interested in it, but that's probably my favorite thing to cook. And along those same lines, I got asked what my favorite thing to eat is. So I'm very much a carb person. In fact, I joke that I should have actually been born an Italian because pretty much everything Italian I love, especially pasta. So, you know, give me all the pasta, give me all the cheeses, and I'm a very, very happy lady. Moving into some of the nail related questions, one of the nail related questions I got was, what is my nemesis when doing my nails? And I would still have to say, in spite of my experience with them now, I would still have to say black dip powder and white dip powder. Those are usually the ones that give me the most trouble. They just don't really want to lay flat. They tend to want to get bumpy or patchy, and it's not fun. But having said that, I do have a few that I have really come to enjoy and I find to be the easiest ones to use. So Cascade Colorworks Alabaster is a bit more milky. It's not really a true opaque white, but I would say that that one is a really good white to use. And then I would also say Ritzy Dips Vanta is a really good and user-friendly black. But, you know, as good as those are, pretty much with any black or white, I'm going to have to just invest a little extra time. I'm going to have to slow down a little bit, use slower drying liquids, take my time. I may have to do an extra layer. It's just something that I have to spend a little bit more time on to get it to look nice and even and not patchy and not all completely gather up in my cuticles. So I just know when I'm going to sit down and do a mani with those colors, it's just going to take me a little bit more work. So another person asked, which part of a new mani do I hate doing the most? And I'd say it's probably a tie. For me right now, because I'm using jelly tips, I would say that taking off and reapplying my jelly tips is the most annoying part, which, you know, really once I get them in place, I can usually have them on for several weeks. So, you know, the annoying part doesn't last long, but it's just removing them and filing them down and then reapplying them, because reapplying them is not just, you know, you stick it on and you're done. You have to go through and etch them, and you have to shade them, and you have to size them. It's just, you know, then once you put them on, you have to etch them again on the outside so you can put your gel on. It's just not my favorite thing to do. I find it to be very time consuming, but it's definitely faster than building extensions with builder gels, so I'm glad I have them. But yeah, I would say that that's probably my least favorite part of that prep part. But as far as if we're just talking the mani itself, I would probably say, believe it or not, shaping, which is kind of funny because it doesn't usually take me very long, but it takes me longer than it should because I am super picky about shaping. So I will just sit there and keep moving my hand at different angles and wipe it down with alcohol, file it some more, wipe it down with alcohol, buff it some more. Like, I'm very particular with the shape, and you know, even sometimes I'll finish it and afterwards I will take photos of it and I say, man, I missed this part, or I should have shaped it more like this. And you know, just being a perfectionist. So you know, it's not that that part is like super hard or anything for me, it's just that it takes longer than it should because I know I'm just being super duper picky. So I think that ties into our next question pretty well. So somebody asked, how do you overcome your nail failures? Basically, what do you do when you're getting discouraged? Which, you know, guys, I get there still. I mean, I've been doing this for a while now and I still sometimes have nail failures. I told you guys about one recently when I did my video with my, basically like this was my mani for me, because I had done one before that and it just frustrated me so much that I took it off. I never photographed it. I never did a video on it, even though I had the footage. I just was so angry at it. So I guess that is my answer right there, is when I do get that frustrated, I stop and try to do something for me. And sometimes that means, you know, I just do a one color mani and that's it. And I think sometimes I'm afraid that if that's all I do, that it won't be interesting enough for people to want to watch. But sometimes you just have to keep your sanity. And whether you're making videos or not, sometimes you really just need to do something for you. So if you're getting frustrated, I would say a couple things. I would say first, take a step back and figure out what it is that's really frustrating you. Make sure it's the nails and not like something else in your life, in which case you probably just need to go do something else for a little while. But if it really is the nails, I would say, what part of that is actually frustrating you? You know, is it, you know, a particular process in creating the nails that's frustrating for you? And if that's the case, I would go look up some YouTube videos and see what some people are suggesting on how to handle that particular problem. Or maybe, again, is it you're doing things that you think you should do instead of what you know, want to do, and stop and do a mani with just the colors you want, like I did. And that's actually kind of what I'm doing here also. I really wanted to do this mani. I know it's not super exciting because it's not an original idea. I borrowed somebody else's, but you know what? I wanted to recreate it and I thought it was fun, so that's what I'm doing. So yeah, I would take a step back and just kind of figure out what it is that you want to do, what part of it is it that makes you happy, and really emphasize that when you're making your sets. And along with that, I would say try to go easy on yourself, because you're going to get really frustrated, especially at first. And you know, it takes time to really build up your technique with dip nails. Yeah, it looks easy. You just paint some liquid on, dip it in some powder, and that's it. But there's a lot more to it than that. And I think it's really easy to just see somebody's nails and think they look perfect and get mad at yourself for not being able to do the same thing. But I'm telling you guys, go back and look at some of my first posts on Instagram. Those nails, they were not great. I'm not saying they were the worst, but they were not great. They needed a lot of work. I can go look at them now, and I thought those sets were good, and I see nothing but things that I would have changed. So go easy on yourself, and really, practice really does make better. So just keep at it and be patient with yourself. And you know, if there's certain things that are difficult for you, like maybe your liquids are drying too fast, maybe see if you can invest in some slower drying liquids. You know, if it's a particular powder that you're struggling with, it might be the powder, it might not be you. You might just need to try different powders. So, you know, those are some things that I would suggest to you if you're getting a little frustrated. And of course, you know, turn to people for help. You know, find the people that are helpful to you and ask them for advice. And I've told you guys before, my DMs are always open. So, you know, if you want to DM me and you have a question, by all means. I may not be able to get back to you right away, but I will get back to you as soon as I can. And I'm happy to help in any way that I can. But just know that you're not the only one. Lots of us do nail sets that frustrate us. I still have them myself. And you just kind of have to take a deep breath and start from the beginning. And I promise you'll figure it out. So I did have somebody ask how long it takes me to do a nail set if I'm not doing anything film related. So I feel like that's a very tricky one to answer, because it kind of depends on what I'm doing. So let's just say I'm just doing solid nails and no nail art, like maybe just a solid and a glitter, nothing fancy, no color blocking or anything like that. I can probably get both hands done in about an hour, but did not used to be that way. In the very beginning, I would take hours and hours and hours. I could sometimes take half a day on nails, and that may seem excessive, but again, if you're a perfectionist like me, then you're definitely not alone. I have spent a lot of time, especially in the beginning, on nails trying to get everything perfect. And you have to remember that now that I'm using tips and builder gel and shaping, doing most of my shaping there, I can get them done a lot faster now, because I don't have to really invest in that time when I was doing it on my natural nails to kind of build up the apex and do all that fancy shaping stuff. So, you know, all that's pretty much done, and I just really am putting the dip over top. But yeah, if it's just nothing fancy and I'm just doing like a single color mani, or like I said, a solid and a glitter, I can probably get both hands done in about an hour. But if I'm doing nail art or anything complicated, or a color block, or more of a like serious design, it can take more than that, you know, 2 to 3 hours. But you know, the biggest thing I would tell people, and I still try to tell people this when I see them asking in Facebook groups, you know, I feel like it takes me forever. How long does it take you? And then people get discouraged when some people say, oh, it takes me an hour. It takes me an hour and a half. And they're taking like 4 hours. It really doesn't matter. I know the person that was asking was probably asking out of curiosity more than anything, but some people actually really do get upset about that. And you need to ask yourself, are you having fun? Because if you're having fun, it doesn't really matter whether it takes you 3 or 4 hours or it takes you 45 minutes. It really doesn't. As long as it's fun, who cares? And I really would encourage you not to compare yourself to other people, at least as much as possible, because the point is to have fun with it. And if you're having fun for 3 or 4 hours, then it doesn't really matter that somebody's only taking an hour. It's really just, you know, making it be about you, having fun with, you know, with your own free time. So that's just what I want to say about that. So somebody else asked if it was easier or more difficult to do someone else's nails. So that's a really good question. And I'll be honest, when I did my daughter's nails for prom, I was very hesitant about that, because I had never done it before, and I was a little worried about that myself. So honestly, it was easier than I thought. I don't necessarily think one is easier than the other, just different. But it was much easier to do her nails than I thought it was going to be. And I think probably your best bet for that is to use slower drying liquids when you're starting out on somebody else. And the reason I say that is because the most difficult part for me on doing them on somebody else's nails was the cuticle cleanup. I don't have the cuticles facing me, and it's just a little different trying to use a cuticle tool around the edge of somebody else's nails. So You know, that I would say is the most challenging part. But, and then as far as getting their hands steady, my Liquid Layers hand rest came in such handy with Chloe. And if you want to go look at that video again, you can see what I mean, but I actually turned it around so that her hand was angled down towards me and had her hand rest on that. And actually that made it so much easier to keep her hand steady for most things. So I actually don't think it was super difficult. I would definitely do it again. I definitely don't want to do it as a side hustle. I'm not trying to do that, but I'll be happy to do, you know, my daughter's nails or maybe a family member's nails again sometime. I don't have a problem with that, but yeah, I don't think it was as hard as I thought it was going to be, honestly, but the hand rest and the slower drying liquids would definitely be helpful. All right, so we're going to file and buff these real quick and move on to the nail art. So another question I got asked is what made me want to start doing my own nails and what are some of the first nail products that I purchased. So I've actually been doing my nails off and on for about 20 years, and yes, that makes me feel extremely old to say that out loud, but that's probably pretty accurate. I've been married twice. So the first marriage, I actually went to a salon and had my nails done for my wedding, and I kind of thought at the time, I was like, this doesn't seem that difficult. I bet I could do this at home. And it was shellac. So I started looking into like what it would take to get my own nail products to do it at home online, and it didn't seem that difficult. I was using Gelish brand, which at the time had kind of blown up and was kind of like the big like at home kit, and you could get it at Sally's. So I got all the supplies and started doing my own gel nails at home, and I kind of did that on and off for really up until about maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And what I mean by that is I would go through phases. Sometimes I would always have my nails done. Sometimes I would just leave them natural for like a month or a year on end. I mean, it was kind of just at random. But I never really like got 100% sold on it, just because I would have my nails chip, I would have them peel, even with gel. So, and I don't think that they do that as much anymore, just because I feel like formulas have really improved over the last 20 years, but I liked the look of it. It just got frustrating, you know, taking the time to do my nails and then have them peel or chip in a few days, or maybe even a week. You know, I wanted them to last the several weeks like they said they would. So, you know, obviously I didn't know as much as I know now, just from really like getting into nails. And so I actually was in that phase where I was going to start picking up gel polish again. So I started looking at a big brand which has a lot of advertisements, and so I went to look at their gel polish online, which they're kind of expensive, and I bought a few bottles. But at the time they were, you know, also promoting their dip powders. So I thought, I don't know about dip powders. I mean, I obviously am extremely late to the party on dip powders. They've been around for quite some time, but I never really like wanted to experiment with them because I didn't know if I was somebody who could really pick up a skill like that, you know, pretty quick. But I should have known. I mean, it's really a lot like painting gel polish. It's just after you paint the liquid on, you're dipping in powder. So I mean, it's similar. Obviously it's different because it doesn't require the UV light. By the way, I'm showing you my beetle set that I'm going to use again. But I don't know. I just wasn't really confident that I could do it. But I decided to get a few from this big name brand and try it. And I instantly fell in love with dip powder just because I feel like, I mean, as much as I love gel for art, and I will still sometimes use gel polish, I just love the fact that it's so much stronger and I don't have nearly the lifting or chipping. In fact, I really never have lifting or chipping with my dip nails. Maybe in the beginning, the very beginning when I was doing my natural nails, but now, I mean, I just almost never have lifting or peeling or chipping or anything like that except with my peel base, and it just works really well for me. So, you know, I am very much into dip powders more than gels. I will still use gels on this channel from time to time, and I do enjoy gels, especially for nail art. But yeah, I absolutely fell in love with dip powder almost instantly. The strength and the fact that the colors were so opaque in just a couple layers, where some gel polishes would take like 4 to 5 layers to build up the appropriate colors. So yeah, I'm just really a big fan of dip powder, and you know, that's primarily going to be my focus on this channel. But like I said, I will still use gels from time to time, but I'm just really glad I took a chance on dip powder. And by the way, I don't own any more powders from that big name brand. I find that I much prefer small businesses, and I'm much happier with my small business brands. But anyway, that was very long-winded. I hope that answered your question. I was a little all over the place there with that one. All right, so here is another question. I got one asking me what my routine is like on a daily or weekly basis. How do I keep up with all the things I need to do? I'm very much a planner, which drives my husband nuts sometimes because he's super spontaneous and I've like got my whole day planned out, my whole week planned out in advance. But the reason why I need to have a schedule is because I am insanely busy between work and nails and working out and cooking and just life in general. I'm extremely, extremely busy. So I kind of have to have like a schedule at least a week in advance so I know what I'm doing and I have everything planned out so I'm not scrambling to try to get things done and I can make sure I get enough sleep and, you know, do things to keep my life healthy. But I'll be the first to admit that I definitely overbook myself in terms of the things that I've committed to in my life. But again, I've told you guys this before, I'm not very good at being lazy. And I always say like, I'm going to be lazy today and it just never lasts. I'm just somebody who doesn't sit still for long. It's just not my vibe. I wish it was sometimes. Sometimes I feel like I exhaust myself like unnecessarily, but I'm not good at sitting still. But anyway, to answer that, it really helps me to at least have a list a week in advance to try to get an idea of what I need to get done that week and plan it out. And that's especially critical because my schedule is all over the place, because I work some nights, I work some days, some shifts are 8 hours, some shifts are 12 hours. I really have to plan so that I can make sure that I get everything done that I need to get done. So, you know, the hours will kind of vary as to when I do things, but typically like my day looks like, you know, getting up, getting ready for work, gather up all my stuff, go to work. After I get off work, I come home and I try to work out as soon as I get home, because if I don't do it as soon as I get home, if I sit down at all, I will not do it. So I'll try to get my workout done. If it's like a 12-hour shift, I will usually let my husband and my daughter feed themselves, or I'll have meal prep for them so that they can have something nice to eat. And I may not be hungry. I typically only eat like twice a day, maybe once, maybe twice. I don't really eat 3 meals. And man, I feel like I'm going off on a tangent here, but I'm trying to answer this question. But it's just because I don't really eat unless I'm hungry, and I only find that I'm hungry once or twice a day. So it's not like a starvation thing or weird diet thing. I guess it's kind of intermittent fasting, but it's really not like planned that way. It's just I only eat when I'm hungry. So I usually don't eat dinner after I get home and work out. Usually my late breakfast or lunch is kind of like my big meal of the day. So I usually come home and work out. And like I said, if it's a work night, then typically I'll let them feed themselves. I'll take a bath and I'll get into bed so that I can get enough sleep for work for the next day. Now, if it's an 8-hour day, I may kind of push back my eating so that I can cook dinner for them. Like if I'll get off at 4, I'll come home and work out and then cook dinner for them so I can have that ready by 6. And then again, I'll still take a bath and go to bed. So that's kind of my like daily routine. I really am kind of boring and consistent with my schedule. I try to make sure that I get my workout in as much as possible, which I have been slacking lately. I need to be more careful with that. But it's really all about, you know, doing the work thing, coming over working out, cooking a nice meal if I can, or at least, you know, making sure I have something healthy for my family. And then I like to end the night with a bath. I just find a bath to be so relaxing and really kind of helps get me ready for bed. So if I have like a few days off or I have a weekend, that I plan those out too. I make a list of all the things that I want to accomplish on those days. There's usually some filming involved on those days. And then of course, like if I can get some meal prepping done or some cooking done for the week, because I don't like to eat out if I can avoid it. I like to have home cooked meals, and I like to have things for them to heat up if I'm working. So, and then of course, you know, just spending time with Charlie and my family. I mean, my husband and I, we like to watch some TV shows together, and you know, my daughter and I like to go do things like get pedicures and stuff. So that's pretty much it. I mean, I really do rely on having a schedule, but I know, like I said, that part of the reason for that is I make my own chaos in my life. I definitely overbook myself, but you know what? I have to say overall, I'm happy with my life the way it is, so I don't mind being a little overbooked. And that kind of leads me into the next question, which is, do I think that I will do any kind of personal content, like vlogging about my life and stuff? And here's the thing, I'm kind of fascinated by that idea, but my life is kind of boring, you guys. Like, I don't think it would be interesting content at all. I'm very much structured with how I do my days, like work or otherwise. I just don't think it would be very interesting to watch. You're just going to see me doing the same things over and over again. So I need to get more like consistent with posting more personal content, at least on my Instagram stories, and a little bit here and there on my YouTube channel, but I just feel like I wouldn't have a lot of fun stuff to share. Just, I'm kind of boring, guys, but I say that in a way that it sounds like I don't love my life, and I do. I don't feel unhappy because I feel like I'm boring. It's more like that this is what makes me happy doing this every day. So I think the only thing that I could really vlog about that might be interesting is the cooking that I do. But that's probably about it. That's why I think I include the little furry Fridays on Fridays, because, you know, I like to share a little bit of my life, but really, y'all would think I was so boring. Yikes, you guys, this video is getting long. I hope this is not too long-winded. I hope you guys are enjoying this, but I really wanted to try to get everybody's questions in. So I do have one more left, and then we'll get into the giveaway details. So this question was, what kind of video games does my husband play? And I think that's is spurring from the fact that if you saw my nail room tour, I talk about how there's a lot of video game equipment in there because my husband likes to play his video games while I do my nails. And it actually works out really well because he really loves his video games on his downtime, and I really love, of course, doing my nails. So it's kind of a way for us to, I mean, be together. Even though we're doing separate activities, we're at least together in the same room and we have a good time with each other. So it's really a nice arrangement. But he is really like obsessed with this game called Destiny, which he plays it on PS4. And he's been playing it for years and years and years. And I actually used to play it with him for several years too. In fact, I used to be like a super hardcore gamer girl, like before I even met him. I mean, since I was probably in my early 20s, I was very much into video games. Made a lot of friendships off of video games. In fact, some of the people that came to my wedding with Ryan were the people we met on the video games. So I always just had a lot of fun with it. And the thing of it is I would still sometimes like to be into games, and I do miss playing Destiny with him because it was something fun we could kind of do together. But it's just kind of to the point to where I barely can keep up with the stuff I have on my plate already. I just can't see me adding video games back in right now. And I feel like it's one of those things where you have to invest a lot of time in it, or you just kind of get too far behind. But yeah, I used to have a lot of fun. I mean, we kind of ran our Destiny clan together, and it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. So I kind of live vicariously now by having him play when I'm doing my nails. And, you know, I have a couple friends from work that play with him, and it's cool. I like it, and I do miss it sometimes. And, you know, I used to play on the computer or PS4 or Xbox. I mean, I was all over the place, but yeah, I used to be a super hardcore gamer girl, but unfortunately games have taken a back seat because I'm just having too much fun with nails. So, but like I said, at least it's nice that we have that opportunity to spend that time together, well, at least be in the same room while we're doing our own things. Okay guys, so I'm going to speed through the rest of the nail art, and let me apologize again for the length of this video. I know it's a long video, but I really had fun answering these questions, and let me know if you guys like this style of video. I definitely do it again sometime. Like I said, I'm pretty much an open book. I don't really mind sharing details about my personal life, so if you have any more questions, I mean, maybe we'll do another round at this. So let me know if you guys like this down in the comments, and if you'd like to see us do another one like this. Or I've seen some other fun ones that are kind of fun, like answering your assumptions about me, where you can like assume something about me as a person or my life, and then I can, you know, we can have a little laugh, see if it's true or not. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think of this format. But as far as the mani goes, I'm absolutely obsessed with the way it turned out, and I just love it. I feel like it's one of those that really didn't photograph that well. I always feel like photographing matte nails is so tricky, but I'll have the finished photos for you at the end. But I'm really happy I recreated this. It was such a fun one to do. And like I said, I love this kind of style of art. So anyway, let me get into the giveaway details. So first, let me tell you guys how much I appreciate you for being here. I'm really excited that we hit 1K. And I super appreciate your support and your comments here and on Facebook and on Instagram. It really just means a lot to me, and I hope you guys know that. So it's really exciting for me to be able to give something back to one of you guys. So after looking at the results from the poll that we did on our community tab, seemed like everybody was really excited about the idea of winning a collection. So since the collection I mentioned was Vivid Glam Co Sea Sparkle collection, that's what I'm going to be giving away. So one winner will be getting the entire 10-gram collection. I figured it was a great one to go with because it's so beautiful, and I just think whoever gets it is going to absolutely love it. So I'm really excited to be able to give that away to one of you guys. So the last time we did a giveaway, we did comments in the video, and comments kept disappearing, and it was really frustrating for a lot of us. So we're not going to do that this time. I'm going to try something new, and I'm going to hope it works. If for some reason it doesn't, we will have to regroup and try again, but I think this is going to be a much better solution. I've seen it be successful for other YouTubers. So we are going to try doing this giveaway by Google form. So I will have a link for you down in the comment box. So what you need to do is just go down to the comment box, or I'm sorry, the description box, and click on that link, and it will take you to a Google form where I will just ask you for some information, and that will be your entry. So it's actually pretty easy. I've already tested it out. It should work just fine, guys, but if for some reason it doesn't, we'll regroup and try something else. But the only thing that I will be asking you for is your name and your email address, and I do need your email address to contact you in case you are the winner. But just know that all those responses are private. Nobody will be able to see them but me, and I will not be doing anything with your email unless you're the winner. If you aren't, then the response will be deleted and it will disappear forever. But if you are the winner, I will use that to contact you and let you know. So if for some reason you already bought the entire Vivid Glam Co collection, go ahead and enter anyway. If that happens, we can figure something else out. But I really just wanted to be able to give away this collection because I felt like it was a nice kind of, you know, fun little prize. And like I said, I think whoever gets it is really going to enjoy it. So the day this video goes live is Friday, May 27th. So I will have the giveaway run from now until the following Friday, which is June 3rd. So you have between now and then to complete your entry, and it is 1 entry per person. Now, just a few disclaimers. Unfortunately, Vivid Glam Co does not currently ship internationally. So it is open only to US residents only. And I'm sorry for that, my international friends. Don't think that I have forgotten about you. We will get you in the next one. But it is 18 and up only, and if you live in a state where giveaways are prohibited, then don't enter, please. But otherwise, feel free to click on that form and complete your entry so that you can be in the drawing. It'll be a random drawing for the Vivid Glam Co Sea Sparkle collection. So again, the link will be down in the description box, and I will have reminders of all the rules and what you need to do so that you can get your entry in time. Phew, that was a lot, guys. So I think I covered everything, so I'm ready to go ahead and rehydrate those cuticles with some Scales of a Mermaid cuticle oil. So the one I have here is I Make Poor Decisions, and if you missed the backstory on this from Chloe's prom nail video, I instantly fell in love with this scent and didn't think I was gonna like it, but now I'm obsessed with it. It really does smell sort of like sangria-like, just with only a hint of wine. Like, it doesn't have like a heavy alcohol scent because I really couldn't stand that. But this scent is unbelievable, and it's quickly become such a favorite. So as always, remember you can use code CARRY10 to get 10% off all your Scales purchases. So let me know what you guys think of this set. I really love it, and I'm so glad I recreated it. I feel like it was pretty true to the inspo photo too, but this was definitely Manny for me, and I just absolutely love it. So I know I said in my last video I was pretty much done with spring manis, and I meant that, but you know, occasionally a few will still slip in, and this is looking pretty springy. But you can definitely expect to see a lot of bright manis from this point forward, and then of course some other like summer style manis. So if you made it to this point in the video, then wow, I'm impressed, and you definitely get a gold star from me. So I hope it wasn't too bad, guys. I hope you enjoyed this format. Make sure to let me know in the comments down below, because I'd be open to doing something like this again if you want to know some more personal things about me. But thank you guys so much for your questions and just for being here in general. I adore you guys all to pieces. So if you did enjoy this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up down below. And while you're there, if you've not subscribed already, I hope you'll consider subscribing before you go. And don't forget that notification bell. We got new content coming every Tuesday and Friday at 2 p.m. Central. As always, thank you guys so much for taking time in your day and spending it with me. I really do appreciate it. And I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.